Welcome to piano class. This is our Young Artist 4 class, and this is lesson 18. This is our last class. After this, you will graduate the Young Artist program. Next week, we will have festival, so we won't have a regular class, and then we'll have our recital the week following. Today, we're going to be passing off the Riddle Song and passing off Farewell Blues, and we'll be doing lots and lots of review of just about everything that we've learned in the last 2 years in our Young Artist program. So lots of things to go over. Right now we're going to just sing through the Riddle Song, because remember, when you play a comping song, someone needs to sing the lyrics so you can tell what it is. I'm going to be playing a triangle. If you have a rhythm instrument you'd like to play as well. This is in your book, page 50. I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. I gave my love a chicken that had no bone. I gave my love a ring that had no end. I gave my love a baby with no crying. How can there be a cherry that has no stone? How can there be a chicken that has no bone? How can there be a ring that has no end? How can there be a baby with no crying? So let's move on to our keyboards, and we're going to be comping. So if you need a review, we'll play through the Riddle Song, and then you can send me a video of your pass-off of the Riddle Song. Remember, someone, you or someone else, needs to be singing the lyrics, or you could be playing along with the accompaniment. I want to remind you, our warm-ups are a very easy way to learn it. The warm-up number 1 is what we play for the first line, and then these 3 measures right here are what we would play at the ending. So this is our chords at the end. I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. I gave my love a chicken that had no bone. I gave my love a ring that had no end. I gave my love a baby with no crying. Our last pass off for the year is Farewell Blues. I'm going to play through it one time just for reference, and then I look forward to seeing your version of Farewell Blues. Remember to keep your staccatos nice and short and crisp. Remember, you are adding your own dynamics and playing those dynamics as you pass it off. Watch your fingering as well. get our binders out. Turn to week 17. We are passing off our sight reading this week. Remember, both hands are on the treble clef. We're in the key of E minor. So here's my middle do. My left hand will be on the mi above middle do. My right hand on the high mi. And if you play it slowly and accurately, it should sound like this. Watch your staccatos. Rest, rest. And we do have a staccato on the last note, so don't hold the last note. Please send me a picture of your theory. You should have written in the D scale, labeling the whole steps and the half steps, and also the B flat scale, labeling the whole steps and half steps, and also adding the accidentals. D would have been sharps, B flat would have had flats if you needed a black key. If you turn to the next week, 18, you'll notice that we don't have a repeat of our sight reading. It says just use the sight reading from last week, and we're going to transpose to G major and G minor. So since we're already above the treble clef on mi, we would simply move to the so that's just above it. And if we play in G major, it would sound like this. So, same, up, 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 up. Down a fourth, up a second, down a third, da, 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 bump, 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 da, 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 bump, 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 da, 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 da. And when I cross over, I would be crossing over to Fi, because this is a half step, and we are going to cross over a half step. If I change to G minor, the only thing I'll change is playing Te instead of T, and it would sound like this. Still play the half step right there that's marked in our original. For our theory for this week, we're going to do the complete circle of fifths, and we will do this together at the board. So let's keep our binders open to week 18. This is our theory, circle of fifths. And when we did our circle of fifths before, we would start at the top and we did just the sharp side, or we did just the flat side. And today we're going to fill in the whole thing. What we're going to do first is we're just going to do the key signatures. I know that yours is written differently than this, and it's asking you to fill in the key signatures. And we'll do that afterwards. But right now, I just want to go around the circle of fifths and fill in all the key signatures. We always start at the top. And if you remember, the top of the key circle of fifths is our key signature that has no sharps or flats, which is C. So we're going to put our C right here. Now, as we go up a fifth from C, that gets us to G, and this is our sharp side, so G is going to have one sharp. As we go up a fifth from G, that gets us to D. It will have two sharps. Up a fifth from D gets us to A. A will have three sharps. Up a fifth from A gets us to E, which will have four sharps. I'm going to start here again. Up a fifth from E gets us to B. B has five sharps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then up a fifth from B gets us to F. But remember, we already have F sharp in our key signature from way back when. So this is going to be F sharp. Now let's stop for a minute on the bottom half here. And let's figure out what would the enharmonic for B be. Remember, you have two down there, and you're going to do them sharp and flat. The enharmonic for B would be C flat. C flat. So this could be B or C flat. Okay? The enharmonic for F sharp, the note that has the same sound but is a different name, is G flat. F sharp, G flat. So this could be F sharp or G flat. Now, up a fifth from F sharp gets us to C sharp, and that would be my sharp with 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or it could be a flat key signature. C sharp is the same as D flat. Okay? Now we've done all of our 7 sharp key signatures. So let's go with our flat key signature, D flat, and let's go up a 5th, and that gets us to A flat. And you'll notice that as I'm continuing around the circle of fifths, I'm going to continue to go up a 5th, up a 5th. I'm not going to go down a 5th because I'm going clockwise still. So up a 5th from A flat is now going to get me to E flat. Up a 5th from E flat gets me to B flat. And then up a 5th from B flat gets me to F. Up a 5th from F gets me back to C. So now you can see why we call it a circle. If I just keep going up a 5th, 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 I will come back to C. I don't have to do this direction and this direction. I can just keep going in a circle and I will wind up back at C. So now that you have all the key signatures filled in, and I'll tilt this down to make sure you can see those bottom ones, then you can go back in and you can fill in the staff, what the key signatures would look like as they're written on the staff. And we're not going to do that here in class because it would just be too time consuming. I do want to point out that if you are confused about what to put, you do have a reference chart in the back of your binder, which you might have already seen for the circle of fifths. This is one that is already filled out, and so you can just use this to fill in your key signatures. We're going to do a little ear training now. You may remember when we did our scale triads and then we circled the ones that were major. Our first triad was major and it was do, mi, so, and it was a snowman shape. And then our fourth triad was major and that was our F major. And instead of doing do, fa, la, do, which would be starting on the 4th note, we just brought the do down and played do, fa, la. So this is our 4 chord based on F. This is our 5 chord, which is also major, and it was based on so. And remember, it is so, ti, re, but we just brought the ti and the re down here so that we could play them all in the same hand position. This is my 5 chord because so is the 5th note of the C scale. This is my Roman numeral 4 chord because fa is the 4th note of the C major scale. Now we changed this one. Instead of playing re, we wanted to play fa. So this is our 5-7 chord, or our kissy chord. I'm going to play them for you. That is my snowman sound. My 4 chord, my up chord, sounds like this. My down chord, 5, sounds like this. And then my kissy chord sounds like this. Can you hear the dissonance between the fa and the so? Now I'm going to play one of those chords and I'd like for you to listen to it and decide, is it the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, or the 5-7? Listen closely. What did you think that chord was? Could you hear that it had kind of a higher pitch? Good, that one was my up chord or my 4 chord. Up, up. Now listen to this chord and decide which one it is. Could you hear the dissonance at the top? This one is my 5-7 chord. Now what chord is this one? That one sounds very clean. That is my snowman chord or my 1 chord. Let's listen to this one. That is my down chord. Did you hear how the pitch was a little more down? And my down chord is my 5 chord. So let's go through them one more time. Our snowman, 1, 4, 5, 5, 7. you're playing, you'll hear these sounds when you do your cadence chords as well. But we don't do the 5, we do the 5-7. We're going to do a melodic dictation today. So grab your books, turn to the back of your book where you have staff paper. We've done this before. We're doing 2 measures, 4/4 time. So go ahead and write your treble clef. Doesn't have to be perfect. Write your 4/4 time. And I'll lay these on the board for you. 2 measures of 4/4 time, so 8 beats altogether. And it's just going to be using quarter notes and quarter rests. And I'll go ahead and tell you that your first note is going to be middle do. I'm going to start by playing a C chord. As I said, your first note is middle do. 1, 2, write this down. 1, 2, I'll play it again. If you need extra time, pause the video. If you need to hear it again, rewind and play it again. I'm going to go ahead and write what you should have written. I already told you that your first note was middle do, so you could have written middle do. And then it was do, mi, so. Could you hear the chord? Do, mi, so, the broken chord. And then I played another so. Do, mi, so, so. Now I have 4 beats, so I need a bar line. And then I played a step down from so it was fa. And then if you were listening closely, you would have heard that it was a skip to a re. And then my last note, you could probably hear, was do again. And that's all of my notes, but I only have 3 beats in this measure, so that's where I need to put a quarter rest. So, do, mi, so, so, fa, re, do. Now, if you didn't hear that this was a third, you probably may have been able to figure out that this is re because it was just a step from the re to the do. Re, do, and you might have been able to tell that do was our last note easily, which would have helped you to figure out the re as well. We're going to review all of our interval sounds that we have learned over the years. We now know 10 different ones. They are a second, a minor second, a third, a minor third, a fourth, a fifth, bride, star, a sixth, the ship, minor sixth, seventh, which is the fire truck, the eighth, which is the rainbow. And what I'd like for you to do is turn to your book in the back where you have blank paper and go ahead and list all the intervals. You could just write numbers, 2, 2, minor 2, 3, minor 3, 4, 5, 6, minor 6, little m in front of those. And then on the opposite side, do an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. We're going to go beyond G this time, even though in music we usually don't. Okay? So we're going to do H, I, J, and I'm going to play these intervals, but I'm going to play them in a different order, and I want you to do a match. For instance, if for the first one, A, I play a fifth, then you would draw a line from A to the fifth. So we're going to do a matching game. All right? So get those written. If you need a little more time, pause your video. I will go ahead and start playing the intervals. Here is A. I will play each one twice. A. Play it again. This is A. So draw a line from A to the interval of sound that that one was. This is B. B. Draw a line from B to that one. Here is C. Here is D. D. Next is E. Next one is F. Now I'm playing G. G. One more time. This one is H. That one is H. Next one is I. Draw a line to that one, and then finally the last one is J. Is J. So if you need to rewind, go ahead and do that, but let's go ahead and do our answers. What did you get for A? A, you should have just drawn a line straight across. A was our second. B was a fourth. C was our seventh. D was a sixth, major sixth. E was our minor sixth. So from E, we would go to our minor sixth. F was our minor second. Minor second. G was an eighth. H was our fifth. I was our major third. And J was our minor third, which was the only one we had left. So your lines should look something like that. So that is our good review of all the different interval sounds that we have learned over the years. We're going to do some theory review so that we'll be prepared for the written theory review that we have as part of Festival. One of the things that you'll be asked to identify are 5-finger patterns. Is this 5-finger pattern major or minor would be the second question. So the first way to identify our 5-finger pattern, obviously, is just to write down the name of the first note. The name of my first note on this one is F, Fa, or F. So that's the first thing I would write. Now I need to decide, is it a major 5-finger pattern or is it a minor 5-finger pattern? To be sure, you need to go ahead and use our patterns that we learned earlier. Our major pattern would be whole step, half step, whole step. Our minor finger pattern would be whole step, half step. So you'll notice that all I have to do are the first 2 steps, and I'll know the difference. If it's a whole step, then it's major. If it's a whole step, half step, then it's minor. So let's do the first 2 on our F. This one is going to be a whole step, Fa to So, and sure enough. So, or G to A flat, you'll notice is a half step. And that's as far as I need to go to know that this is going to be F minor because of my half step right here on the second interval. Let's do another example. My first note here is La or A. And I'll use my letter names. Again, A to B we know is going to be a whole step because they all start with a whole step. But let's see what our second one is. B to C sharp. B to C sharp is a whole step. Whole step would be my major pattern. So I know that this one is A major. And when you're doing this, please write out major or minor, because sometimes if you just put an M, it's hard to tell if you're doing a capital M or a lowercase m. So my 2 steps for 5-finger patterns: write down the first note, letter name, then do the 2 steps to see if it is major or minor. Half step here or a whole step will determine that. All right, let's review naming chords. If you remember, we have a way to figure it out. If it is a snowman chord, it is the bottom note that names the chord. If it is an up chord, it is the note above the gap. If it is a down chord, it is the note above the gap. And if it is a kissy chord, it is the top note and add a 7. So let's analyze each one of these and determine what the key signatures are. Let's look at this one first. This one is an up chord. The note above the gap is a re. La, re, fa. Letter name for re is D. So this would be D. But let's think about it for a second. Is it a D major or a D minor? What is the key signature for D major? D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So this would need to be a Fi, La, Re, Fi, for it to be D major. So this one is D minor. Do you see how I determined that? It doesn't have the Fi that it needs to be D major, so it is D minor. Let's look at this one. This is a snowman, so the one that names it is the bottom. Our bottom note is So or G. But we have a te, and a me, so te, re. And we know that G's key signature normally has 1 sharp. It doesn't have a flat, so te, re is going to be G minor. So this one is minor as well because of the flats. All right, let's look at this one. This is a down chord, and the note that names the chord is the one above the gap. This is above the gap. That note is what? That is a D. Now this one has a sharp sign for the Fi. Fi, La, Re, instead of Re, Fa, La. Remember that we said this one was Re, Fa, La. This one is D major, capital M, D major. And that F sharp helps us to know that that is a D major. Our kissy chord, top note. Here's our top note, and then we're going to add a 7. Our top note is a C, so this is a C7. For the 7 chords, you don't need to worry about if it is major or minor. You just write the 7 after it. Okay, so don't worry about major or minor. For the 7 chords, just put the 7 after it, and it is a C7. You might find that a little confusing because if we have a te, we know that we don't have te in the C key signature, right? But we're not going to worry about it. This is actually a C7, and that's correct. We don't need to put major or minor. Continuing with our theory review, we learned how to identify key signatures, no matter how many sharps or flats they had, by using some simple rules. For our sharp key signatures, we would find the last sharp and go a half step above it to find our key signature. So this would be G sharp, and if this is G sharp and I go a half step above G sharp, that gets me to an A. So this would be A major. And remember, all of these rules tell us our major key signatures. A major. Let's look at this one that has 5 sharps. Our last sharp is on the space of A. So we're going to move to A sharp, not A, but A sharp, and then go a half step above it. A half step above it gets us to B. So this would be B major. A sharp to B. Okay, so a half step above my last sharp. That works for all of the sharp key signatures. What is the rule for our flat key signatures? Do you remember? For our flat key signatures, we would go to the next to the last flat, and that is the name of our key signature. So C flat, and then G flat is our next to the last. So that is the key signature. This one is G flat major. G flat major, next to the last flat. Now on this one, we don't have a next to the last flat. This one is the exception to the rule. And we only can memorize this one to remember it. Now, fortunately, this is one that we've played for a while, so it shouldn't be that difficult for us to memorize. Do you remember? The word flat starts with the letter F. So this one is F major, and it doesn't fit the rule of the next to the last flat like all the others. So quiz yourself with your flashcards and just remember that rule for each of the key signatures. Half step above the last sharp or the next to the last flat to figure out your key signatures. Here is one last chance to do your flashcard challenge. I have my timer set for 45 seconds. I have all 34 notes here, 17 in the treble clef, La below Do, all the way up to my 2 ledger line Do. 17 notes in the bass clef, 2 ledger line Do, all the way up to Mi above middle Do. So you can say them with me, or you can mute it and say them yourself and try to finish in 45 seconds. On your mark, get set, and go. C, D, F, B, A, D, D, A, B, E, F, C, G, B, B, D, G, G, E, D, C, E, A, F, B, A, C, G, C, F, E, A, E, C, and 1 second left. So that's how fast you need to say them, and flip through those cards to pass off your flashcard challenge. Good luck! I'm zooming in just on our keyboard here so that we can go over our technical exercises. If you feel like you need to read them off the page, then you can open up your binder to the technique guide. We're going to go over first our 5-finger patterns. We need to know our 5-finger patterns in all the white keys and all the black keys, major and minor. You may be asked to play them parallel or contrary, going in opposite directions. Now you can use the music like I said, but the easiest thing to do is to just find the key note that they ask for and then say to yourself, let's suppose it's E flat, whole step, half step, whole step, and then just silently do that and find the 5 notes, and then you're ready to go. 1, 2, we would play. Now let's suppose they asked for D flat minor. What would we play for D flat minor? We could just find our major, tonic, whole step, half step, whole step, and then just lower the 3rd. Instead of playing Fa, I would play Mi. That's my minor. You could also remember that the minor pattern is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. So either way, you can just remember the major and then lower the 3rd, or remember the minor pattern of tonic, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Remember, we had wild weather. Contrary, we would start with both thumbs. Let's try the D flat in contrary, D flat minor. With E instead. E, it's actually F flat. 1, 2, ready, go. and contrary motion. So review all of those. Just you could put all the different note names in a jar and pull 2 or 3 out and practice whatever you pull out each day. Or just randomly pick a black key or a white key and play your 5-finger pattern. The other thing that you'll be asked to play is your scale triads. Remember our scale triads, we've done C. We've also done F and G quite a bit. This year, the new ones are D. Remember, D has F sharp and C sharp. So let's try D. Find your D major chord and be watching for your F sharps and your C sharps. 1, 2, ready, play. D, rest. D, 2 sharps. F sharp, C sharp. No sharp. Here comes C sharp in the middle. F sharp at the top. C sharp at the bottom. And then F sharp in the middle again. The other one that is new for this year is our B flat. So let's play our B flat. Remember, we're watching out for Tay, B flat, and May, E flat. 1, 2, ready, go, play, lift, E flat, lift, D, 2 flats, lift, F, then G with a flat, then E flat, and B flat at the bottom. So practice those, the new ones especially, the D major and the B flat major. Then we also are doing our cadence chords in all of the white keys. Remember, cadence chords are playing our snowman chord, our up chord, our snowman, our kissy, and our snowman, like this. Snowman, lift, up chord, snowman, lift, kissy, chord, snowman. And we should know these on all of the white keys. So let's work our way up. Let's do D. 1, 2, ready. D is B, up chord, kissy with a C sharp, and snowman. E will have sharp in the middle, sharp at the top, and sharp at the bottom. 1, 2, E we go. You'll start to feel the similarities in the fingerings in each one as you do them. Let's do F. Think of your Tay. 1, 2, ready, go. Snowman, then chord, then snowman, then kissy, then snowman. G. 1, 2, ready, go. Next is A. A has the same pattern as E. 1, 2, ready, go. And our last one is B. B is the one you want to practice the most. We have 2 sharps. 1, 2 at the middle, go. Sharp, then sharp at the top. Then 3 sharps on, oops, sorry. Up chord, kissy. Kissy is lee, mi, fi. Lee, mi, fi, then ti, re, fi. So B you probably want to practice the most. And you do need to be able to play them without the music. So that's the end of our class. We had lots of things to review and lots of things to go over. If you have any questions about anything that we went over today, please send me an email or send me a short video on Marco Polo or a text just to ask questions if you need to. Next week is festival, so please sign up for a time to do festival. You can either come into the studio and do it or do it online. We'll have a schedule for you. We will also have an online theory review for you to do, and that's part of festival as well. And then we will have our recital the following week. Congratulations on finishing Young Artist 4. I'm so proud of each and every one of you for sticking with this program all the way through. And I hope you realize by the review we've done today how much you have learned and how much you have learned on playing the piano as well. So I look forward to seeing you at Festival next week. Have a great week and send me your pass-off videos for anything else that you have left that you need to pass off.